What's going on, everybody? Of course, had to bring out the official jacket for this final NFL mock draft for the LA Chargers. And no, this is not an official jacket. Just got it at Walmart for $5. You know, you gotta get on those deals when they're available. But yes, this will be my final 2 mock drafts for them. I've done plenty over the past couple weeks or so, and I thought I was able to get 2 players that I had not gotten before, and definitely a lot better picks after the first round, in my opinion. So these were definitely some of the more favorite mock drafts I've had and have saved until now. So hope you enjoy them here today, Thursday, on draft day. I mean, as I'm recording this, it's not draft day, but it will be when this video is uploaded. So definitely looking forward to that. Don't know if Wednesday or Thursday day I'll be watching draft day. It's always a tradition of mine to watch that not so great movie, but just to get in the mood for what's to come later that week. And yes, it's not that horrible of a movie, but it always gets me in the mood for football, of course, not that other stuff. So to get onto this first mock draft, yes, for the Chargers at number 1, or their first round pick, round 17, I have them going with the edge tackle George Karlaftis. This guy to me could be played inside as well, at the nose or whatever type of edge they call it, but he could definitely help out on as a defensive end as well, his normal position. For some reason, it's weird, like a lot of teams like him or don't like him, so he could go 10 spots ahead of the Chargers or even more, or just like right after the Chargers as well. So he's a little bit of a guy that maybe some people are unsure about. I think, for what I've seen the past 2 to 3 years since he's been in college, is a very disruptive type of defensive player, especially on the defensive line, which is what the Chargers need. He may not have the numerous sack numbers, but he is coming from Purdue, which never had the best team around him. He was always the number 1 target, but still was able to put up some numbers while he was there. So in the end, this is a great first round draft pick on defense for the Chargers. Round 3, have a going defense once again with linebacker from Georgia, Quay Walker. I've drafted this guy in these mock drafts before, but surprisingly he was here available. I think he's most likely going to go in the 2nd, early 3rd, so probably not available for the Chargers, but right here, it's a major pickup for them, especially at that linebacker position. You get a guy 6'4", over 220 pounds, to be able to move like that. He was one of the faster Georgia linebackers out there this year, and I definitely think he's going to be a beast if he were on the Chargers. Round 4, have him going with a newer wide receiver that I have not picked recently for these mock drafts, but recently found out about him, and Bo Melton from Rutgers. To me, after watching these highlights of him, seeing his stats, he definitely reminds me of what could be another poor man's version of Deebo Samuel. I don't think he's probably as big overall together and thick as Deebo, which kind of helps Deebo out a lot in the NFL, but this guy is definitely a Swiss Army knife and could be your utility man, because you use him in all different spots in the offense for the Chargers and Justin Herbert, and I just think he'd be a great weapon to have for the Chargers' future. And yeah, to get him here in the, what was it, the 4th round? Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Round 5, I've been going with the running back from Cincinnati and Jerome Ford. Picked him before, but thought he was a very good, consistent running back, especially what was available at this point. He's definitely one of the more top-rated guys, definitely a top 10 running back overall, very consistent. Always had a couple 100-yard games, multiple touchdowns games, especially this year. So definitely excited about that pick. Round 6, having going with an interior offensive lineman from Tennessee and Cade Mays. I remember him more when he was coming out of high school. He was definitely one of the more highly ranked guys, especially as the offensive line coming out. Went to Tennessee, and Tennessee has not been great the past couple years, but he's still a very talented guy. There's still some type of superstar in there waiting to break out, I believe. And once again, another guy who was picked up late, I believe his name was Trey Smith from Tennessee, last year by the Chiefs, who was like a 5th or 6th round pick, something like that. and he was a very talented guy, but I think he either had an injury or some off the field stuff, and they still selected him that late, and he eventually became a starter for them. So I'm hoping the same type of luck happens with Cade Mays and the Chargers here in the 6th round. Would be very exciting. Round 6, their last pick, I have them going with the punter and Matt Ariza, San Diego State. Once again, I just figured they're going to most likely look at this guy or maybe another guy I might have in the next mock draft to be able to bring in some competition for J.K. Scott, who they recently signed. Go with the better player after summer workouts and stuff. It's not bad to have competition, so we'll see. These are definitely some of the better punters in the past couple years. Their first round 7 pick, I have them going with an offensive tackle out of LSU and Austin Deculus. Obviously, don't really know much about him. Wasn't able to get much tape on him, but he is coming from LSU, who like to run the ball a lot. So there is some talent there. This is most likely a depth situation in case there are multiple injuries on the offensive line. So they add a guy from a well-known school, has some talent, not that bad. Round 7, I did look at this. I'm like, I don't know why I ended up getting 2 receivers, but not too mad about this. And Reggie Roberson Jr. from SMU. Been picking him recently. I probably would have changed this pick if it were up to me. If I was actually paying attention, I would have went to with someone else. Probably, I think I didn't select a tight end here, but went with 2 receivers. Obviously, like I mentioned before, he does have talent. Always a good SMU receiver coming out. You know, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, guys like that. So these guys can be very productive and last long in the NFL. So not that bad of a pick. In round 7, other round 7 pick, I'm going with a cornerback finally in Demarion Williams from Houston. He's not probably the better guy coming from Houston, but overall, this is to add some type of depth and some special teams help here. He could, I know he had some pretty good stats overall at his career at Houston. We'll take a look at him if they do draft him. And then finally, round 7, they go with the defensive lineman out of, I believe it was Idaho, and Noah Ellis. He just looked like a pretty big, athletic dude. Obviously, was able to just focus on football up there, even though Idaho isn't the greatest team. They've had a couple of random players here and there in the NFL, and they need a bigger defensive lineman, especially nose tackle-wise anyway. So not bad to end off this draft with someone to help out. George Karlaftis' first-round mock draft for the Chargers. Not bad, not too shabby overall. Definitely pretty nice draft here. And for this other mock draft, this very final one, I have for the Chargers, I have them going with the offensive tackle who surprisingly fell. This guy has been projected to them before past couple months, but as of late, he has been considered getting drafted higher. Luckily, he did fall here, so of course I had to take him. Is the offensive tackle from Mississippi State, Charles Cross. Once again, he is probably one of the more talented, probably most elite pass rushing or pass blocking offensive tackle in the draft, but I know it is weird how he is going to get selected in the first round, even though people mostly talk about him for his pass blocking instead of helping out in the run, because Mississippi State just threw the ball pretty much all the time, especially this last year, especially under Mike Leach, their head coach. So I don't know, he has to have some amount of talent to be able to block in the run game as well, and you know, to be able to shore up the right side with a very talented guy. Just have to teach him some other part of the offense. Shouldn't be too shabby for the Chargers here in the first round. So definitely taking a little bit of a chance here, but I don't feel that bad about it. Round 3, have it going with the linebacker out of Alabama in Christian Harris. I know there's a linebacker most likely coming out next year from Alabama who I liked a lot more. He's probably going to be a first round pick, but to get a linebacker from Alabama is never a bad thing. They usually end up lasting quite a few years in the NFL, except really some of the top ones. They always end up getting in trouble in the NFL for some reason, like a Reuben Foster or something like that. But this guy, especially past couple years I've seen him, he's been really consistent. Maybe not the biggest or strongest linebacker they've had come out of there, but still very smart, always there in the right spot. Those Alabama linebackers are always making the correct play, and they're always fast and athletic enough to be able to help you out. So he will be maybe not starting right away, but could be a replacement in the future for Kenneth Murray, because I know Murray struggled a bit in this defense last season. So we'll see. Then round 4, have him going once again with another Alabama player, but cornerback Josh Jobe. This guy I've known for quite a bit. I know he wore, like, I always look at the number 14. Number 14 is my favorite number. So I always like to check them out, see if I end up liking them in college or the NFL. And at one point of his career at Alabama, he did have 14. I always liked his size and definitely a bigger type of cornerback. But like I've said in previous drafts, that if you're getting an Alabama player, especially the cornerback position, they're probably the most coached position out there, because that's Nick Saban's, forte. So hoping to get a very smart, talented guy here in the 4th round. That's all we could hope for the cornerback position. Round 5, going with a wide receiver from Rutgers and Bo Melton. The very last mock draft with Karlaftis, I did get him in the 4th round, surprisingly. He was available here in the 5th round, which I'm pretty sure is where he's going for, the 5th. Maybe even 3rd if someone likes him that much, but I just think he's going to be that dynamic of a receiver to help out in his first year. I know a lot of people have high hopes for Josh Palmer, but I think this guy has enough talent to be able to be your 3rd string wide receiver right away as a rookie. So that's how I see it. Round 6, have him going with the defensive end in Amari Barno. For some reason, I've seen this guy go 4th, 5th, and 6th, sometimes 7th round, but I definitely like this guy. I don't know how he's getting selected that crazy of like distance amount in the draft, because he is one of the faster defensive ends, if not the fastest. Not coming from the best school, but good overall measurables, 6'3" or 6'4", something like that, over 200 plus pounds. So he should, in most drafts, he might be a 1st or 2nd round pick, but for some reason he's dropping all the way here, which I still think is a very high value pick. So I'm going with him. The 2nd round 6 pick. I have him going with the safety out of Georgia Tech. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Wanye Thomas. He's been getting a little bit more attention here and there from like the ESPN mock guys, so I had to take a look at him. I definitely liked what I saw highlight-wise and stat-wise, so to get a pretty talented, interesting safety here this slate, definitely help out on special teams and back up your starters. It's not a bad pick overall, so we'll see. Starting off the round 7 picks, have him going with an interior offensive lineman, Tyree Carter. I believe he was from Southern University, something like that. I know recently on Bleacher Report I saw that they met with this guy, so I had to do a little bit of the stat looks and see if there are any highlights on him. There weren't, but does have the size and stuff, especially this late in the draft to take a chance on, especially in an interior offensive lineman. And it's definitely the type of player and from the type of school that the Chargers would like to get. They always want to prove that they can choose someone from a not well-known school and make them to something big. For every Antonio Gates you somehow find who was a more of a basketball player than a football player in college, there are more like Trey Pipkins, what was that, Larry English, some like linebacker they got in the 1st round a long time ago. I don't know, it never really worked out. But yeah, overall I think this guy has the ability, at least, body type wise, and hopefully, since they already met with him, maybe it's a good sign right here too. Round 7, have him going with the punter out of Georgia and Jake Camarda. I know he's considered at least the 2nd best punter out in this year's draft, and just seeing a couple of stuff I've seen throughout the last 2 years from Georgia, it's obviously pretty good, and I hear he can punt this ball very far, just like Matt Araiza. So once again, good competition for J.K. Scott, another good rookie coming in, so why not take a stab at him here in the 7th round. Last 2 picks, round 7, have him going with the defensive lineman from Wisconsin, and Matt Henningsen, something like that. Don't really know much about him, didn't get to see any highlights, but stat-wise, pretty nice. You know, there's always gigantic human beings up there coming from Wisconsin and some of those Big Ten schools. So defensive line to get him, see what he can do this late in the draft, help out with your depth on the defensive line. We'll see how it goes. And then the last pick, round 7, picking a running back from Rutgers, or second player from Rutgers this draft. And it looks like Isaiah, a certain way, a way you could say Isaiah, but Azahi, it could also be. Sorry if I'm saying that incorrect. But last name Pacheco. And I know this Just Bombs Productions, they do a lot of great highlights on YouTube. Always check them out. They always put a lot of these players on the radar. And once again, a guy I didn't really know much about, but seeing his freaking highlights, it's like, dang, this guy could almost be a 4th or 5th round pick in my mind. But I'm pretty sure he's getting picked this late and available this late. It's because of his size, most likely. But he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well, take off, makes a lot of big plays if you watch out those highlights. But yeah, check out Just Bombs Productions on YouTube. They're really reliable for some of the great highlights out there that I check out. So yeah, overall, that's how I see Charles Cross's draft going, mock draft going, if the Chargers end up going with him, if he is surprisingly there. So yeah, overall, it's been pretty interesting to see how this mock draft situation has gone. I know I found this website, NFL Mock Draft Database, and it's been pretty good. So I'm most likely going to use them again next year. But overall, I think I will go with that way that I said I will in the past couple videos, where I would have to choose like my main top guys, maybe a top 10, who I would want them to select in the first round. Then every pick after that in the following rounds for every mock draft has to be different. Just like how I do with fantasy football every single year. I try and push to not get the same exact players unless it's on auto draft or it's not allowing me to select it myself. It happens, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely go with that. Should be very interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Very interesting mock drafts here, but I know some videos got more views than others, but maybe that's just because of the type of players we're going with in the first round. But definitely been enjoying some of your comments as well. So yes, all the best of luck to the Chargers and General Manager Tom Telesco, everybody out there in LA or El Segundo, wherever it is. I think they are doing it at the stadium, which is pretty cool. So yeah, good luck to everybody, and let's go Chargers. All right.